Good evening, my dear students. In today's class, in the chapter Current City, we are going to discuss the topic Wheatstone's network and the nodal analysis, introduction for nodal analysis. Okay, by this time you might have seen like we started with the Ohm's law, then from there the Ohm's law, then we define the current, then Ohm's law, V equal to IR, then current density, drift speed, then you have come across the EMF of a cell, then KCL, KVL, series, parallel. Okay. Here afterwards, what all we are going to discuss will be the application part. What all we have studied the previous topics, no, all there we are going to apply it. Like the first thing, like the Wheatstone network, as it's a one very simplified circuit is there, which will help us to solve to simplify the network. Then again, the nodal analysis. If we have plenty of loops, then how to calculate the current in any branch. So these methods are going to help us. So this particular now year afterwards in the current density, what all you are going to learn, it will be all about the techniques, the different methods to solve, to find out the current in a branch, or to find out the potential, or to find out the power dissipated across any element in a branch. Okay, let me take you to the screen. Okay, already I written to save time now, so scribbling all will take. So this is a basically a Wheatstone network. First, we'll begin with the galvanometer. So it's a galvanometer. Then there are two types of galvanometer will be there. One with zero deflection at the midpoint, and where the zero will be your left hand and zero will be the midpoint of the scale. What is the basically galvanometer? Again, it contains like it's a device used to measure the magnitude and direction of current. What actually galvanometer made up of? So it will be made up of like a current carrying loop. One loop will be there a magnet. Then when you pass a current through that loop, it will get deflected and the torque due to dipole moment will be set up. So all this will come in construction of galvanometer when we go for in the magnetism chapter, electromagnetism chapter. Dipole moment when we discuss, no, there will go in detail working of galvanometer. Okay, now time being, so if it is having a scale like 0 to 10 milliampere, what do you mean by that? If you send a current of 5 milliampere, the deflection will be at 5 milliampere, the pointer. If you send 2 milliampere here, the pointer will be at 2 milliampere. If you send 10 milliampere, the pointer will be at 10 milliampere. Then the pointer means that this one, like we can have a pointer here. So it will deflect. So when you send 1 milliampere, 1 milliampere, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 milliampere you send. If you send 15 milliampere, the pointer cannot deflect more than 15 milliampere. Able to notice out? And I'll take some. Yeah, this will be the pointer. So the pointer, what in fact is going to deflect here. As you pass current, the pointer is going to deflect here. So what is the maximum deflection I can get it? 10 milliampere. The deflection more than 10 milliampere not possible because there's a maximum current the galvanometer can withstand. Okay, that particular current we'll call that as high G, or current for which the deflection galvanometer will be maximum. Then this galvanometer made up of many conducting parts, so it will offer some resistance. That all resistance of galvanometer, I'll call it as galvanometer resistance. Okay, now come for this one. Now we have another type of galvanometer. Yellow color. Let me take green color. We have another type of galvanometer where when no current flows, the pointer will be at 0. The 0 of galvanometer will be the midpoint of a scale. So if you send current in one direction, the deflection will be on one side. If you change the direction of current, the pointer will deflect on either side of 0. So here, so this galvanometer, what will happen? Will measure the magnitude of current and also the direction of flow of current. Agreed this? So for such a galvanometer to indicate direction of current, the pointer, the 0 should be at the midpoint of a scale. So if your current flows, if current flows to galvanometer in say like a towards right, deflection will be on this side. If current flows in opposite direction, the pointer will deflect on either side of 0. In this way, the pointer or pen will deflect on either side of 0 based on direction of current. Okay, these are basically two types of galometers are there. So here I can even print the direction of current, whereas here only magnitude of current. Here direction as well as magnitude. Agree this? So now in the Wheatstone network, I am going to connect a galometer which will indicate the direction of flow of current and also the magnitude. I'm more bothered about the direction, where the 0 will be at the midpoint of a scale. Okay, now I have 4 resistors. So these are the known thing. P, Q, and S are known. The unknown resistance is what I'm going to connect here. So what is this one? Why do we use Wheatstone network? To find out the resistance of any wire or a body. So I'm going to connect in this branch. I'm going to call this as a branch. AC is one branch, CB is one branch, BD is one branch, and AD is one branch. The unknown thing, I'm going to connect it here. This unknown thing. Okay, these things are the known for us. These branches are known. I can adjust the value of S. Variable, I can adjust the value of S till the deflection the galometer will be 0. Okay, no. What is our primary question? How to find out this unknown resistance? No? How to find out this unknown resistance? Okay, now let's see like if VC equal to VD. When this will happen? When current through galometer is 0. How to make current through galometer 0? The unknown resistance is connected. I'll adjust the value of S in such a way that the current through galometer is 0. How to check it's a 0? First, certain values of S, the pointer will be on the right side of 0. For certain values of it, the pointer will be on the left side of 0. Exactly, I'll adjust the value of S at one point. The pointer will be merged. The pointer will merge with the 0. I'll see that no parallax will be there. Then current through galometer is 0. Then potential at C should be equal to D. Because if current 0 means no potential difference should occur because current flows from high to lower potential. If there's no flow of current here, then these two should be at same potential. So VC equal to VD, I'll get it. Then can we write it? VAC is equal to VAD because A is a common point. VAC equal to VD. What is VAC? Applying the loop equation, applying the KCL. So it will be like VA minus I1P minus VC equals 0. So then what is VA minus VC? Equal to I1P. So this will become VAC. Similarly, what is VAD? I'll write down the loop equation. VA minus I2R minus VD equals 0. So VAD is equal to I2 into R. Where you begin positive and where you end up, there should be negative. So I'll move from positive to negative. So this will be the polarity, no? If a current enters, there should be positive. Where current leaves should be negative. So VA minus I1P minus VC equal to 0. Solving this, we'll get VAC equal to I1P. Similarly, VA minus I2R minus VD equal to 0. Then VAD equal to I2R. So let me substitute VAC equal to I1P here. VAD equal to I2R. So the ratio of I1 by I2 should be equal to R by P. Call this equation 1. Similarly, we'll write equation for VCB. Let me write that loop equation here. Now what is VC minus I1Q minus VB 0. Then VC minus VB equal to I1Q. Then VD minus I2S minus VB0. So VD minus VB is equal to I2 into S, or this is nothing but VCB equal to I1Q. This is VDB equal to I2S. Let me come for this one. VCB should be equal to VDB because VC equal to VD. So I agreed. So then what is VCB? All these things I'll highlight it, which I'm going to substitute. Okay, look at this one. So what is VCB equal to? I1Q. What is VDB equal to? I2S. So I1 by I2 equal to S by Q. I have two equations, 1 and 2. Let me divide these two. I1 by I2, I1 by 2 will get cancelled out. So what do will end up? R by P, or I'll equate R by P should be equal to S by Q. Then I'll rearrange. If I rearrange, the R is unknown, no? So R is equal to P. So R is equal to how much will be like a P by Q into S. This is the Q. So there's an expression for the unknown distance. So like this, the unknown distance we are going to calculate here. Okay, now, so if a register, if there is a, what we can do that one. So here this same potential, you can remove this galvanometer. When you remove it, you'll get a situation of like this. Then if I ask you find the effective resistance, so PQ in series, the effective of that P plus Q will be in parallel with R plus S. Like that, we can simplify the network also. The unknown resistance which we are supposed to find out is that we have determined. Look at here. So when bridge is balanced sense, current through galvanometer will be 0. When the bridge is balanced, current through galvanometer will be 0. Okay, look at the condition now. So I have brought one simple case. I can interchange the position of galvanometer and cell. I can interchange the position of galvanometer and cell, you can see. Still, the ratio of P by Q equal to R by S will be valid. So again, here like a VAB will be its same potential. Okay, let's do one thing. VA equal to VB. If VA equal to VB, then what you are going to write? Q by S should be equal to P by R. Solve it. Similarly, VA equal to VB. If VA equal to VB, here also again the same condition. So if the bridge is balanced, you can interchange the position of the cell, or you can redraw the circuit here. You can redraw the circuit, we'll get the condition of like this. Where the galvanometer is connected between A and B. I'm just redrawing, you see that one. When I redraw the circuit, will come like this. Either even here also you can apply the same condition, Q by P equal to R by S. Okay, now other forms of Wheatstone network. If you have like this here, so the R is unknown thing. This is some resistance you can pick up here. Now look at this. This is a network. I'm asking you to find the effective resistance RAB. That was my question. How to find out here? How to find out that one? So here, what I suggest is like, just redraw the circuit and make it in the form of like Wheatstone network. So between A and C, a resistor P is there. Between A and C, resistor P is there. Between C and B, a resistor Q is there. A resistor Q is there. Between C and D, a resistor G is there. Between A and D, a resistor R is there. Between D and B, a resistor S is there. So then current through galvanometer, also like this will be when the bridge is balanced, when P by Q equal to R by S, you can remove this one, no? So this resistor can be removed. When you remove that, how it will appear? P by Q equal to R by S because of this condition. Why you are removing? Because if condition satisfied, P by Q equal to R by S, then only you can remove this calmetation. Then potential at C equal to potential at T. Then if any resistor connected across equipotential points, the resistor should be removed. The resistor can be removed because there's no current through the gallium, no current through this resistor. No current flows through this resistor. So therefore, even if its presence or absence, what happen will not disturb the current flowing through these branches here. Okay, now what is the resistance now? P by Q, this is in series, R by S, this is in series. The effective resistance, solve it, we'll get the required answer. Like that, we can find out the effective resistance across AB. So we can't find out by any other method. Any other method will be very lengthy. Just convert this of the form of Wheatstone network and redraw the circuit, you'll be in a better position. Once I know the resistance, this one, can I measure its resistivity? Yes, I can measure the resistivity or conductivity, what you can call. The resistivity will be unknown quantity to this resistivity of material will be very difficult quantity to measure. Yes, with the help of this, I can easily find out now the resistivity of this material which is connected here. This is unknown thing. Okay, this is the main purpose of the Wheatstone network. To find out the resistivity of material, we take help of Wheatstone network. Whatever the primary idea of this is, like the Wheatstone network, it was designed by some like a botanist person who was working agricultural engineer. He was nowhere related to physics. He wanted to measure the fertility of soil. To measure the fertility of soil, what happened? We use this Wheatstone network. There's a major advantage of this one. To measure fertility of soil, Wheatstone network is used. Okay, this was designed by some botanist, not something engineer. He was a botanist. He wanted to know the fertility of soil. So a soil, fertility of a soil depends upon the resistivity of the soil. So by making the resistivity of soil, we can check like what is the fertility of soil. I think all of you know fertility, why you need, because I think the when you sow seeds, what be the, when we sow a seed, how the crop, what amount of crop will get per hectare, I think that depends on fertility, no? So definitely what happened? So I wanted to know the fertility of soil. So the soil which I wanted to measure fertility, no, I'm going to keep it in a box here. Then I have a setup. Then I'll measure the resistance of that soil, and I know what is the length of the soil in the form of a cylinder I'll be using. I know length and area of cross section. I know resistance are. Then I'll get the resistivity. From resistivity, I'll come to know, I'll get the fertility. Then I can advise to the farmers like, this is the fertility of this. So your efficiency of crop will be this much if you going to sow a seeds now. What further has to be done to increase the fertility? I can give advice. There's an advantage of these things. See, the entire engineering is to help the society, not to just learn or enjoy. Knowledge is not meant to learn and enjoy. Knowledge is meant to help the society here. You should not learn for fun or some other thing. What will be that? The major purpose of knowledge is to help the society. Okay, now we have the application problems. Like I have a network like this, is asking find the equivalent resistance across the terminals. So I'll look at these two. Look at this. They're in series. Look at these two. They're in series. So the effective resistance okay, this will become how much? 2R I'll replace with that suitable color only. To R, and this part will be to R, no? And look at this point AB. They're joined by a wire here, no? We have here, so that they're common. So again, these will become in fact parallel. So the next part of circuit will be, I'll make it small so that we can accommodate everything here. This is the thing. Okay, the next part of circuit. What we do is this 2R will become parallel to it. Will come here. And this has to be taken out. Why we are, because like A and B, they are joined by a wire, no? Are you seeing a wire here? This is a wire. So potential at A should be equal to B, they're joined by wire. So I'll make that A and B common point. So now this will become A and B, AB. Okay, I think you are able to notice. I think this will be now 2R and 2R, this 2R, parallel effective resistance is R, and that will be in series with this. So the next part of circuit, we have to just keep on simplify the network. Stepwise, we have to come. So this together, these two, how much it will be? 2R parallel to 2R will become R. Now again, check these two how they are. Okay, can we simplify? No, stop it here. These two you cannot simplify because the point P is here, no, you can't disturb it. Okay, come for these two now, how they are. They are in series. 2R, that is effective in parallel with this. I will. Okay, these two are in series, no? So the effective of that will become 2R. Keep it in this way. Okay, now this 2R and this R, how they are? They're in parallel. So the effective of this will become 2R by 3. So I'm going to replace these two with an equivalent resistance. Two R by 3. Okay, okay, there's a point A, B. Okay, let me call this is X. This AB, I'll call it as C, where AB has become equal to C. Okay, with this, there are 5 resistors are there. No, let me try with something. So this is X, or I'll write D. It'll be better. Okay, now this is C. This is a point D, and this is a point P. This is a point Q. Between P and C, there's a resistor. 2R is there. So you look at this one. I'll magnify. Some of you are unable to view it. Okay. Huh? So between P and C, the resistor 2R is there. 2R is there. Between C and D, a resistor R. Okay, that resistor R will come here. Between D and Q, a resistor R is there. Look at the points, D and Q. Between C and Q, that color also I'll retain, so that will be easy for you. Then between P and D, 2R by 3. some value I didn't write properly. Okay, yeah, some data is missing. This is 2r/3. Okay, fine. Okay, now this is some data. I think I didn't write properly. Now, what is the resistance? PQ is asking. No? So look at these two. The ratio of these two arms, 2r/3 by r should be equal to 2r/3 by r. Then what is the potential at C? Potential at C equal to D. Then when you remove this, we'll end up with total resistance of network is this is P, this is Q. So 2r/3, this is R, 2r/3, this is R. So 2r/3 in series with R, 5r/3. So this will be again 5r/3. 5r/3, 5/3. So the total resistance RPQ should be equal to 5r/6. They're parallel, no? So this the help of. So this resistor, what happened, can be removable. The reason for that, because VC equal to VD. How do we can say ratio of these two arms, 2r/3 by R should be equal to 2r/. The ratio of these two arms is equal to ratio of these arms. So potential at C equal to D. Then this resistor can be removed. Once you remove this, these two are in parallel. So, sorry, these two are in series. Effective 5r/3, 5r/3, and that effective in parallel will get this answer. All these problems based on Wheatstone network. Huh? Okay, we'll take the similarly next condition. I'll go to the next problem. Let me shift this to the next page. Yeah. Okay, we'll take the. He's asking find the equivalent resistance between the terminals PQ. Okay, there's so many resistors are there. So are they series, parallel? What to do is now, so this is the point, no? So you can break up this circuit. So there are two Wheatstone networks are available here. If you take it out, no? So this will be so how do you can say, means like, okay, you are joining them. Okay, you are removing the particular junction. How we can, how will accept that? So why can't a student can also do like this? No, this. He will also do like this. Then who is right, who is wrong? A student can also do like this. You know, so definitely there should be certain method, no, like which is right, which is wrong. Definitely, if you measure PQ in the lab, either one will be correct. Both cannot be correct. Either this will be correct or this will be correct. Here, actually, you have to go for current distribution. If you divide the, let the current I enter here. This will branch out I1. So I/2. I/2. The division of current. Okay, this I/2, it will branch here I1, I2. Then this, it will come like this. Look at now. So the current here I by 2. Current it will branch out I by 2, I by 2. So this current again further will branch I1 and I2. This one, the current here in fact will not branch. You can see that this current will flow like this. So what is the meaning of this? So I'll try to explain this one. This current will not branch. It will just flow like this. And what about the other current? The other current will take a path like this. So how do I come to know that current will not branch? The reason for that is like you draw a line, symmetric line. About this point, the current is distributed symmetrically. If that symmetric line passes through a junction, then the junction is only a physical junction, not an electrical junction. So therefore, the current will not branch. Electrical junction, current branches. Physical junction, current will not branch. So the particular point O, so will indicate by this O, that O is only a physical junction. How do we can justify? By sending a current, by making the current by branching the currents, and by symmetry. If a symmetric line passes through a point, a junction, then that particular junction will be only physical, will not be electrical. Okay, I think now this is one Wheatstone network. So further what we can do, I think this will be wrong idea. And I'll put wrong. Okay, further what we can do. So there are like a 2 Wheatstone networks is what we are seeing. 2 Wheatstone networks are there. So can we simplify them? So I can remove this resistor. Any reason for that? Because potential at this point, I'll write AB. CD, I'll write it. VA equal to VB. Similarly, VC equal to VB. Any reason for that? Ratio of these two arms is equal to ratio of these two arms. So these two are same potential. Any resistor connected can be removed. So you can see now. Okay, this will become A, B, C, and D. Okay, now the circuit is a little bit simple. So how these two resistors are in series, these two are resistors in series. So 2 are parallel to. So the effective resistance, if I solve it, so this is 2R, 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 2R. 2R parallel to R. So the further effective resistance will become R by 2. So what is the resistance across the terminals? RPQ. Equal to R by 2. Like this, the Wheatstone networks, taking help of Wheatstone networks, we can simplify it. So in a very less time, we can get the effective resistance. If you take Wheatstone, or else you have to use very lengthy method. Branch current or loop method, nodal analysis, they'll be very lengthy. So always, whenever there are more than 5 resistors in a network, try to think once about the Wheatstone network conditions. That will help us to solve the problem in very easy way. Now again he's asking, so there are 5 resistors. So find the equivalent resistance across terminals AB. So what we do is like, we'll just give the number. This will be C. This will be D. Let me give name. I think this point will be A only. So let me redraw that circuit. So this is C. Only redrawing will help us a lot. Between C and D, there is a 2 ohm resistance is there. 2 ohm. And let me bring that point A here and the point B here. Between AC, between A and C, 6 ohm resistor is there. Okay, fine. Look at here now. Between A and D, 3 ohm resistor is there. Between C and B, 10 ohm resistor. Between B and D, 5 ohm resistor. Is asking to get the resistance between A and B, no? Okay, what actually happened here? Okay, I'll give the coloring so that you can notice where the resistors, where we have put it. how you redraw, sir? So somebody is asking, sir, how you redraw? Redraw means just like putting in them in proper shape where it will appear like a uh, rhombus in the form of rhombus. Hope I think through the diagrams I'm trying to convey the thing. How you have to think is what I'm trying to help. This 5 ohm will be here, no? See it, no? It's redrawing. So don't fight with this. Don't fight with this. Try to redraw it. Try to redraw in the shape of like a rhombus. So now look at this one. The ratio of these two arms, 6/10, is equal to 3/5. 6/10 is how much? Okay, wait. Yeah. Oh, yeah, 6/10 will be 3/5. Here also 3/5 is there. So then potential at C, in fact, equal to D. Then I can remove that 2 ohm resistor. Why? Because the 2 ohm resistor is connected across equipotential point. Then how these two 6 ohm and 10 ohm, they're in series. These two are in series. So the next effective resistance will be 16 ohm and this will be 8 ohm. So what is resistance RAB is equal to 8 into 16 by 8 plus 6. This will be 8 into 16 will be 24. 2, 3. Let me reconnect again. Yeah. Okay, this will be our answer. RAB. This is the effective resistance across the terminals AB. So whenever there are more than 4 or 5 resistance are there, you must think about one Wheatstone network. Now again, once again, okay, is it like you see this one, 2 ohm, these two are in series, 4 ohm will get it. These two are in series, will 6 ohm. So if I redraw the circuit, this will be point A. Okay, this is 2 ohm, 3 ohm, and this will be 4 ohm, 10 ohm, and 12 ohm. And this is the point AB. This is a B only. I think that the numbering is a thing I readjusted. So what actually I did, these two are how they are. Look at these two. They're in series. The effective 2 ohm will be 4 ohm. That is what this 4 ohm. Now come for this. This 3 ohm. Oh, some other color. This 3 ohm. And look at this 3 ohm. They are in series. The effective will be almost 6 ohm. That is what here 6 ohm. Okay, wrong thing. Okay, this is 6 ohm. And the remaining things I kept as it is. So now, is it a Wheatstone network? As it is again, still like if you still find difficult, if you're finding difficult, what you do, redraw that. There's a point CT. A, this is B, 2 ohm, 6 ohm, 10 ohm, 4 ohm, 12 ohm. Then what to do with this resistor? The 6 ohm resistor is what I can remove from the circuit. So this 10 ohm, because the potential, again, the ratio, you check it. The ratio of these 2 ohms, 2 ohm by 6 ohm, 1 by 3. 4 by 12, 2 by 6 is equal to 4 by 12 as the ratio of these 2 ohms is equal to these 2 ohms. So I can remove this. So potential at C is in fact equal to D. Then I can remove that resistor. So after removing, I think we are, I'll put boundary. Okay, don't get confused. Huh? Now this, this 10 ohm should be removed. No? Okay, now look at the total, how they are. They are in series, these two. And look at this, these two are in series. So now 2 ohm will be 8 ohm. This will become 16 ohm. So what is RAB? Let me write it. Let me scribble here. So 8 into 16 by 8 plus 16. 8 into 16 by 24. So 16 by 3 ohm. Able to understand? So these are the some Wheatstone networks. With the help of the Wheatstone network idea, we can work out. The problem will become very simple when you try to apply the idea of Wheatstone network. If the ratio of these two arms is equal to ratio of these two arms, then potential at C equal to D. Then you can, since the 10 ohm resistor is connected across the equipotential points, no current flows through that, and you can remove it. Okay, now we'll take the next one, the nodal analysis. Already, I think you've come across the two things. So let me write here. So there are how to solve the network problems.